All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into this lesson. It says in Ezekiel chapter 35 verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right. So a key word I want to put out is because thou had Slakia, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children. Right. Who is the one with the perpetual hatred? That would be none other than Mount Seir, also known as Esau. It says right here in verse 3, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord, O God. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord God, also known as Yahweh. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Right. So I'm gonna get out this part right here.
Is out on bail after prosecutors say he tried to drown a black teenager in a pond in Chatham. And as WBZ's Louisa Moeller tells us, today in court we learned this isn't the only racially motivated accusation against him.
You can see 14-year-old John Sheeran leaving court after his bail hearing, briskly walking and barely saying a word as he got into a car with his father. A judge said he can live in Chatham on a GPS device.
Mr. Sheeran, do you want to say?
This all stems from an incident in July where a 15-year-old black boy says Sheeran texted him to come to a Chatham pond. Then Sheeran and another boy allegedly threw rocks at this boy and asked him to come into the water. The young man does not know how to swim and wore a life jacket. That's when investigators say Sheeran repeatedly pulled him under the water, once called him the N-word, and another boy called him George Floyd.
This young man, Jack Sheeran, held onto his life jacket and pulled me under the water.
White 14-year-old boy.
So as you can see, Esau showing his hatred again that he's been showing for generations towards Jake, us, the Israelites, and the craziest thing is this little weirdo, Esau, this Edomite, right, decided to drown, an Israelite, right? And the craziest thing is, what's the point of trying to drown, someone that didn't want beef with you in the first place, man? This kid this Edomite has literally a whole suit, right? Probably from a good neighborhood. Probably lives in a big house. Probably has top tier education, right? And yet he still decides to drown, a so-called black kid, also known as an Israelite. This is how Esau's hatred is perpetual. Esau can't control his hatred for us Israelites. He just can't do it. No matter what, Esau will show his hatred one way or another. And you may say, "Oh, I have a friend who's good. He's white." Well, just because you're white, it doesn't mean you're an Edomite, and just because you're black, it doesn't mean you're an Israelite. Confusion of faces. There are some people that have a friend who's an Edomite, right? And they say, "Oh, he's a good friend," but then what happens if you said to that friend who's an Edomite, "Oh, but Slakia, but I bet you that friend who's an Edomite wouldn't want to serve out the slavery that we went through," right? They'll quickly say it's in the past, or they'll quickly say it was from 150 years ago, right? They will quickly want nothing to do with the recompense of slavery, right? It says right here in Proverbs chapter 11 verse 21, though Slakia, Proverbs chapter 11 verse 21, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Who's the seed of the righteous, right? The 1/3, right? The ones that decide to serve the Lord, who are Israel. Genesis chapter 27 verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. And as you can see, Ezekiel chapter 35 verse 2 to 6, right? KJV. You know, you should go read that. But as you can see,
into the victim's mouth and nose, and he could not breathe. He started to shout, "I can't breathe," over and over again, and tried to get Mr. Sharon's hands off him. Mr. Sharon let go, and the other child started laughing. He called him George Floyd.
The boys allegedly did stop when another child on the beach swam over to intervene. Sharon's defense attorney, Kevin Reddington, says it was reckless teenage behavior, not attempted murder.
This young man had absolutely no intent to murder his friend.
Is your client remorseful?
Of course, absolutely.
All of these details were heard in court as community members listened, and some of them say what resulted was not justice.
Was lucky he didn't lose his life, but someone attempted to do that. Why would you hold somebody down knowing he's saying, "I can't breathe"? He feared for his life.
Me under the water.
wow. So as you can see, the Edomites had no remorse for what they did to that kid. That Edomite attorney said that it was just mere horseplay, right? Drowning a kid isn't mere horseplay. Laughing while he's drowning isn't mere horseplay. Calling him George Floyd while the kid is drowning and you holding him down is not horseplay. Stopping only when some other kid decide to intervene is not horseplay. Esau is guilty, right? Evil man, as it says right here. I'm gonna highlight it. Esau will not be saved no matter what. 2/3, no matter what you think. Esau/Edomites are the so-called white people. Amen. So I hope this lesson was very edifying. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah and Shalom.